welcome to Behind the Music for Daily Hope. We're continuing through our God Time series here at Victory Lutheran, and we've moved on to the petition that says, "And lead us not into temptation." I thought that was a very interesting phrase. Instead of saying, "Lead us in right paths" or "show us the way," lead us not into temptation. And so we're asking God to not lead us towards things that could be bad for us. It also implies that we're not staying in one place. There has to be movement. And so when we pray this prayer, I think we do have to be thinking about what is the opposite of temptation? What should we be doing? We have to fill this void. And so those are some of the things that I was thinking about this week as I was preparing for worship. Now, I looked up the definition, as I sometimes do, of a word, just because I wanted to see, and talking about guidance and things, and I was thinking, well, what music should I play? And I looked up the word march, because when I think of movement, I think of a march, people marching together. And so I looked up the Merriam-Webster definition of march, and it says to move along steadily, often in step with others. And then I liked the second definition of it, which was to move in a direct, purposeful direction. So you can't just march aimlessly. You have to have a purpose. You have to know where you're headed. And that's how it comes into play with this prayer. Lead us not into temptation, but lead us where we should go. Help us find these paths that we need to follow. So this weekend, I decided to play for you a march by the French composer and organist Ferdinand de la Tombelle. Now, he started piano at a young age with his mother. His mother had been a student of Franz Liszt, who's a composer and pianist that I'm sure you've heard of. So I'm sure she was very well trained and able to pass on to him this information, and he decided that he did love music and continued to pursue it. He went on to the conservatory. He studied with well-known composers and organists Theodore Dubois and Alexandre Guillemot, and so he was very trained in this French tradition, writing in the middle of the 19th century, where there's all this music that's just kind of pleasant to listen to. There's just something about it that's feel-good music, and so it's always kind of fun, very tonal, doesn't make us too uncomfortable, but it has this very rhythmic feel because it's a march. Now, this march comes from at the end of a collection of 6 pieces that he wrote. He wrote quite a bit. He was very prolific. He also was a writer and a sculptor and a painter and was very involved in the arts and things, and he was married to a writer, and so he was very eclectic and diverse, but also a very good organist and composer. So I know that you'll enjoy this march. This week, as we think about God's guidance, the Father's guidance, where does He want us to be headed? Not only do we not want to be led into temptation, let's see if we can find being delivered from the evil and finding some purpose in our life. So I hope you enjoy this march, and I'll be back with you again next week.